Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Barrett. Uh, I listen quite often to Archbishop Vigorons's podcasts, and I also listen to Father Amora, Mario Amora's different items, and they keep talking about evangelization. Well, doggone it, be bold. I'm going to be bold today, if you don't mind, and I'm going to evangelize. And I hope everybody can kind of stay with me and understand where I'm coming from. My topics today, excuse me, are going to be how to start a vocation committee in every parish. And number two of the conversation will be how to use the traveling chalice as the means to start a vocation committee. To me, it's a very simple proposition. The traveling chalice, if it's used in a parish for, let's say, 26 weeks, and let me quickly explain the traveling chalice. We have, what we do is, our club does have free traveling chalices, and we give them to the different parishes, and they will select maybe one person in the parish to help with the traveling chalice, and we get families and people to accept the traveling chalice on a weekly basis. What the traveling chalice does is given out on a 10 o'clock mass, let's say in my parish, or 12 o'clock, and they take the traveling chalice home, the family, and they talk and pray vocations for a week. They put the traveling chalice in a very proper place in their home, and they talk the traveling chalice, and they say prayers for vocations, and it just gets the family together talking about the vocations in the priesthood and religious life. We've got to get these families talking about vocations. They certainly go to some beautiful Catholic schools. We want vocations to be discussed, and they are discussed at the school, but we want the family together, and we want the family to discuss it for a week, bring the chalice back on a Friday to the rectory, and then the pastor gives the traveling chalice to another family the following Sunday. Might say a few words on vocations. There's nothing wrong with that in the church to talk vocations. And we give it to another family for a week, and they take it home. Maybe you may have a single person who wants to take the traveling chalice home. That's terrific. And he can pray for vocations for a week. Take an hour out of each day and pray for vocations and bring it back. Or maybe just a couple. But we've got to get vocations out there. We got to be talking vocations. The family unit is very important in this matter. But the traveling chalice does get the momentum started in a parish about vocations. Now, some of the attributes of the traveling chalice is we have the one person. Of course, I don't want to say they have to be on fire for vocations, but they have to be interested. And they are going to try to get the families on the different Sundays. This is done by telephone calls. This is done by maybe an ad in your in the church. I forget the computer. But anyway, we've got to get the names of different families Phone calls very popular. And we put, in my parish, we put the names of the people receiving the traveling chalice in the paper for previous weeks to the time they get the traveling chalice. And so they like to see their name in the paper, and they know when they're going to receive the traveling chalice from the priest on a Sunday after Mass. Priest might say a few words, and then about vocations. But they go home and they pray and they talk about vocations. There's nothing wrong with that. We've got to get the kids thinking vocations, thinking priesthood, religious life, beautiful sisters, brothers. This is so important, especially in this diocese presently. Another item of the traveling chalice, I kind of invented it years ago, but it sure does work, is we have a chronicle. We have a book. And we ask the people to write, perhaps the wife, the mother, to write in the book on the final day in the chronicle what happened that week. What did Johnny do, or what did Joe or Mary do? It gets the people feeling part of the program. We also have every child sign the chronicle. They're part of this program. So where we are is we've got a beautiful chalice. I might say my club, Sarah, we give them out free. I mean, God bless us, but we believe in this so much. And we will have them available, but most of the traveling chalices we find in the churches are already blessed. We don't want to use those, of course. So we do have traveling chalices, but the chronicle is important. Filling out 2 pages of the chronicle of what happened that week is very fine. I might suggest that chronicle goes from family to family, and all of a sudden at my parish, we did this 15, 18 years ago, the ladies got together and formed a little club talking about what you do and what we do type thing. And it's also a guide for the different families as far as what did the family do last week. Maybe we can do something like that. It's all in the chronicle, and be surprised, at Queen of Martyrs, my parish, Our Lady Queen of Martyrs, we had some beautiful, and I still have them, statements by some of the families, how important the traveling chalice was to that family. I mean, it may be the only time you talk about vocations of the priesthood religious life is when you have the traveling chalice in your home, but we've got to get the conversation started. Without conversation, it's not going to work. Now, I'm going to jump to the side for a moment and say to you, we also have a traveling crucifix that can be used, and we have those free, instead of the traveling chalice. Although the chalice, the one I got for Queen of Martyrs, is quite beautiful. But the crucifixes are very beautiful also. And you could use a crucifix instead of the chalice if you wish to. This crucifix that I'm talking about is something we started 5 or 6 years ago, where we gave every Catholic school a traveling crucifix. Now don't get confused. The traveling chalice is in the church, crucifix is in the school. Sometimes the crucifix will be in the church. I can think of 2 or 3 churches right now that use the crucifix rather than chalice in the church. That's fine. They may need a second crucifix or a third crucifix. We have quite a few crucifixes. And they're beautiful crucifixes. Gems in them, is very attractive. They stand alone by themselves. You don't have to hang them on a wall or anything. and they stand quite tall. It comes in a wooden box, and that kind of denotes to me Calvary, where our Lord died. But anyway, what I might stay with this conversation for a moment. The traveling crucifix of the school gets the classrooms talking about vocations. When that crucifix is out on the desk of the teacher, on top of the wooden box, she may spend a half an hour, 20 minutes, maybe a rosary, say a rosary for vocations. Just talk vocations, see where the kids are with vocations. What we're trying to do is get the vocation feeling out there. It's there for the weekend, and the traveling child goes home. It's there in the school when the traveling child goes from homeroom to homeroom, and the people can just talk their hearts out about vocations. Again, it makes them feel warm when the word vocations come up. So the traveling chalice in the school, and the traveling crucifix, the traveling chalice in the home, and the traveling crucifix in the school. Please don't be confused. I might say, I'm very proud to say this, last year our club, I put together 4 different teams. We went out to all the schools, Catholic schools in the Archdiocese. There's 80 of them, including the high schools. And we delivered 53 traveling crucifixes in the schools presently. I might say some schools took two crucifixes, some took 3 crucifixes. I can think of 2 schools that have 4 crucifixes. That's fine. But if the middle school, the kindergarten, the grade school, the high school, I understand, and we want nothing but to cooperate and build vocations in the young people. So the school's got the traveling crucifix, and I might say, we did this course last year, we might go back to the schools this fall and give them another little item of very prayerfulness about vocations, and ask if they have any problems or anything they want to talk about, and that'll be just our follow-up. Of course, we always have follow-ups at Sarah after we do a school, and they can call us anytime for any matter, replace the crucifix, broken or something. But that's 2 different programs that we use. My main thought in this conversation today was the traveling chalice in the school, traveling chalice in the church, because once we do the traveling chalice in the church, we also use that chronicle, and we have now 26 families, or 26 teams. We can come up with a vocation committee for that parish. I might say it's not me, it's the Bishops' Conference talking, who I might say sponsors Sarah and has for years. They want a vocation committee in every parish. The traveling chalice in the church gives you names, lots of names, and we proceed to form a vocation committee in that church. I don't suggest, we've been doing this for quite a few years, I don't suggest more than maybe 3 people on the vocation committee. I might say for Queen of Martyrs right now, we have 8, that's wonderful, but the more, once upon a time when I go back, when I was chairman of the vocation committee, we had 15. It didn't work. A lot of conversation, but things didn't get accomplished. So vocation committee, 3 people, we even can do it with 2 people. You should meet at least 3 times a year. You should always invite the principal of the school if you have a school, and you should invite the pastor of the church if they want to come. You should also keep minutes of those 3 meetings over a year, and so everybody knows where everybody stands. It's kind of goofy to start a vocation program and not have follow-up, not have other things to do. At Sarah, we have a program called the Sarah Sparks Program. We have 30 different programs. I hate to confuse you, but we have 30. And so the vocation committee can pick and choose maybe 1 or 2 programs for next year. For an example, some of our programs, and we use them right now at my parish, on Eddie Queen of Martyrs. In fact, we're doing 6 different Sarah programs presently. We're doing the Traveling Chalice in the school meeting, there we go again. In the church, we do the Traveling Crucifix, and I might say, beautiful Father Jim Simoes, our pastor, makes a nice presentation of that at the school mass every week or every 2 weeks. It's my impression every homeroom gets it for 2 weeks, and they talk vocations. So we've got the vocations in the school being talked about. And of course, the Traveling Chalice is, I might say, Queen of Martyrs, we did it for 40 weeks, and we really changed the parish around. It really, people enjoyed it. Ladies were coming together, forming little groups of friendships, and things really happened. Things happened so well that we got 4 in discernment, and we just had a ordination last year. Father Dixon, he's a Jesuit, and we have 3 more in discernment right now, and we're proud of that. And I hear we've got some more in the line. So when you do vocation programs in the school, and then that the kids notice it, and the chalice at home, they notice it. It makes them feel comfortable. We've got to make, for the wise decision to be made and by these parents of these children about a religious vocation, is you want to feel completely with the Lord, completely comfortable. We love the Lord. If we have a church that has nothing to do with vocations, shame on us. We need to have a warmth of vocations, and we call it culture of vocations in every parish. We would like a culture of vocations in every parish. That's the Bishops' Conference would like a culture of vocations in every parish. I might say, I'm giving you a lot of thought here, I might say Sarah has a statistic out that's quite popular. It's called the 80-20 rule. And we're 20% in the United States. Don't forget we have 200 clubs across the United States. Maybe I didn't insert that in the early part of my talk. But Sarah does have 200 clubs in the United States, another 200 around the world. We're international. We've got 400 clubs. We've got 15,000 members. And we're aggregated with the Pope, which is quite a nice honor. And we're sponsored by the Conference of Bishops. But the 80-20 rule is really, it knocked my socks off. 20% of the churches have vocation committees. 80% in America don't. That 20% that have vocation committees come 80% of the seminarians. I think that tells you something. If more vocation committees we can get in parishes, the more activity year after year after year in parishes is a healthy factor for more vocations. We've got to promote, we've got to love our kids, the parents have got to discuss it, but the church and the school has got to back up the whole concept with their different programs. Some of the programs we also have at Queen Martyrs, and of course we need a priest, Father Jim Samaro, who believes in vocations, and he said to me, when he came 5 years ago, he said, I went in to see him, and he said, "Then what do you do, Bob?" And I said, "I'm with Sarah, I promote vocation." He said, "You're just the guy I'm looking for." I said, "This is wonderful." And we had a great 5 years together. We did the Altar Server Award, we did Call My Name Award, we've done all the four, very important to do the 4 vocation masses a year that's sponsored by the Conference of Bishops, the Priesthood Sunday, Vocation Awareness Sunday. We do all those in big time because we have vocation committees and we can plan for year to year what you're going to do. So again, Sarah has 30 different programs for you to look at. We look at their website and you can certainly see them, Sarah International. But we've got to promote vocations to the priesthood religious life. Here in Detroit, it's dire. And we every day that goes by that we don't is a lost day. And so we've got to get out and we've got to every day promote vocations to the priesthood religious life. It's my dream, with, of course, working with moderators, to have a vocation committee in every parish. Let the people own the vocation committee. Let the people 2 or 3 meet up 2 or 3 times a year. Let the people have their vocation activities with their pastor. It's a very personal thing. Of course, the moderator can have a meeting once or twice a year and see how everything's going in his parishes for vocations, but vocation committee is the answer. If 20% of the seminarians in America are coming out of our 20% that have vocation committees, that sure tells me something. Anyway, those are the 2 concepts I wanted to talk about today. I did have a nice talk with Father Amora, and I certainly have enjoyed Archbishop's podcast and talking about being bold and getting out and talking about things. So that's my thought for the day. Perhaps I just believe in what I'm talking about. And I know come 10 years from now, I don't want to see 140 priests in this time. I want to see 100 or 200 priests. I want to work every day for more priests. People want to, I even noticed when I went around with my 4 teams, we went around to the schools, the principals are wide open for help. Everybody wants to help. We've got to have plans and we got to go out and do and work our plans. Amen to all of you. I love my 30 years with Sarah, and I love Our Lady Queen of Martyrs, and I love everybody I'm talking to. So let's all work for our vocations of the priesthood religious life. Thank you very much.